Crystal, where were your favorite movies filmed? Not the ones that are going to be on the list, but just your favorite movies.
The Fugitive was filmed in Chicago, right down the street from me. So that was like a cool fact.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you see the filming?
Some of it. And it is funny, too, because so many people lied and said, oh, yeah, I met Harrison Ford and we talked. So I'll throw that too. Yeah, I met Harrison Ford. I was in high school at the time. And he was like, yeah, let's get you an entourage. You don't have to catch the bus to school. We'll have our car detail take you to school every day and get you lunch.
Of course. Do you know the band? You know the band? You know the band REM?
Of course.
Michael Stipe told a story once about how they played a basement party as their first gig ever in Athens, Georgia, where they're from.
Uh-huh.
Michael Stipe says, I've met 300 of the 20 people that were there.
Ha!
Everybody saying, I was at that first party.
300 of the 20. That is funny. That's a good one.
On today's show, we talked about Athens, Georgia. We talked about Chicago. Superman was filmed near my sister's house in Cleveland.
Oh.
What's your favorite media? Movies, games, TV shows, books. Where have they either been the deciding factor in some place you've gone, or they're the reason you want to go to some destination? Today, we're going to count down our top 5 with the help of our live YouTube audience.
Woohoo! And then at the end of this episode and every episode, you'll hear our gear of the day pick, but we are doing something different for today. So
it's going to be fun.
I'll save it for the middle part. But if you're looking to look at all of our other ones, head to our page at stackingadventures.com/GOTD or Gear of the Day. You'll help the show and you'll help yourself adventure better and for less money. Ready? Let's get this show on the road. Joe?
Crystal?
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome back, adventurers, to the Stacking Adventures podcast, where we head around the world with our adventure community. Every adventure has a story. We love hearing yours, and today you're going to hear some of ours. I'm Crystal Hammond.
And I'm Joe.
She's Crystal Hammond.
Joe Saul-Sehy.
Crystal, I love this topic. I don't even remember how we came up with it. We were talking about some movie or something, you and I, in one of our planning meetings. We're like, ooh, that would be so fun to talk about how often we've been influenced to go someplace just based on song.
Movie. It was a movie. Oh, I know, but I'm not going to spoil what mine was.
I do remember mine. I was telling you about my favorite place ever that I've been, and it's actually my number 1 pick on here.
Okay.
So we'd love for anyone hanging out with us on YouTube, share yours, any places that you've been to based on a book, a game, a song, a movie, a TV show. And that was the number 1 factor. But Crystal, I know I've got a long list of honorable mentions.
Well,
Let's go through some of these. It doesn't matter if we repeat places, because some of my places might be honorable mentions for you, but they were top 5 for me, and vice versa. But it truly is about these different media things that we're talking about today. What are some of the things on your honorable mention list?
All right. So honorable mention. This one is funny. Beverly Hills, thanks to
Beverly Hills Cop.
That gave me 2. So it was Beverly Hills. And then at the end, they always end up somewhere in the Caribbean. So I was like, okay, one day I'm going to sit on a beach. But it was funny because if you look at some of those scenes, he's like in a sweater and jeans,
right,
on a Caribbean island. So that's pretty funny that they are in the Caribbean in those outfits. But definitely from that one movie, 2 destinations.
That's funny because I also know that Eddie Murphy in that movie wore a Detroit Tigers hat all the time.
And
that
coat.
Became a very famous hat around that time. And a lot of people came to Detroit, where I was living then, because of Beverly Hills Cop. Even though it wasn't a place in the movie, It was just the hat that he was.
And the coat. That was a pretty dope coat that he had on, too.
It was incredible.
That coat. A lot of people wanted that coat.
Those movies were funny. I wonder if they hold up. A movie around that same time period-ish on my honorable mentions. I always wanted to go to Seattle after just seeing all the scenes in Sleepless in Seattle. So just Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan and this romantic movie from the late 80s, early 1990s. And then when I finally went to Seattle, man, it didn't disappoint. And I was so happy when my son moved there because I love going to Seattle for that reason.
I was wondering if it was what you thought it'd be. I guess we'll say that for all of them.
Was Beverly Hills what you thought it would be when you went?
I mean, it's old now. So it is almost like looking back in time just a little bit. But yep.
We walked into a couple shops. We took pictures with some of the super high-end cars that were parked in front of shops in Beverly Hills, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah. Oh, Gunn says he's from Detroit. He loves that movie.
That's awesome. And we'll share Amy's.
Yeah.
When we get to our top 5, we're going to say Amy's got a great one, by the way. That
is a good one.
Friends of mine went to the place that Amy went to, and we'll share that here in just a few minutes. Another movie that I had on my list, I have a few based on movies. No, I take that back. I read the book first, and I was really in love with these places because of the book. But the Da Vinci Code. We've talked about Florence and Rome before, but when I went to the Vatican that Michael Balter was talking about a couple of weeks ago, all I could think of was the Da Vinci Code. In fact, when Cheryl said she wanted to go to Italy, I immediately went, let's go to Rome. I want to see these places from the Da Vinci Code. And I saw the little tunnel that goes between the Vatican and the castle, this inner walkway where the Pope disappears and where they had to sneak out during one scene in the book and in the movie. Both of those. In fact, Da Vinci Code again, Tom Hanks. Apparently Tom Hanks looms large.
Big influence
That's right.
in my life. Well, it's funny you mentioned, the Da Vinci Code. I didn't see it or read it, but Italy was also on my next honorable mention. We'll go there now because you mentioned 2 words too. You mentioned tunnel. So from the cartoons, I always wanted to go in the tunnel of love. So the Italy, like the Italian canals with the gondola. That's what I'd always wanted to do. And I did Venice. It was cool. The guy sings. I love how they keep the tradition great. You get on there, the guy has the hat, the striped shirt, and then out of nowhere, he starts singing. It wasn't love, though. I was with a friend, one of my old neighbors, and me and her, we went looking for love. Well, we didn't find it, but
you could have ditched her and just taken home a gondolier.
No, thanks.
But he had a good voice. He had a good voice.
Say that either. I don't know about that. It was just fun singing, and we were like, okay, how do you turn this down?
Oh, really?
Turn it off.
So it wasn't the great thing you were hoping for.
But it was neat to be on the canal, though.
My gondolier got on a phone right away and started talking to somebody in Italian and ignored us the entire time. It was
darn it.
It was the gondolier experience was such a disappointment.
Darn. Yeah. These phones are just. I'm not going to say anything. It's like I get on the bus and a train and people are just on their phones, even the waiting rooms too. And remember you used to just talk to each other?
That's crazy
Good
talk.
Old days. Yeah.
And being on your phone is annoying enough. How about the people in a crowded room that decide they want to talk to their friend on speakerphone?
Oh, yeah. One doctor's appointment, the guy was watching this. It was hilarious. It was a Spanish telenovela. Then all of a sudden you heard, then there was a fight scene. And me and another guy just looked at each other and we're like, it's not worth it to say anything. Just let him watch his telenovela in surround sound at his office.
What else is on your
honorable mentions?
Yeah, how about that?
The song that Rihanna, I think it's Rihanna, the Havana song. I've wanted to go to Cuba because that na 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 na. Of course, I don't know the name of it, but Havana, Cuba, it just looks so cool.
I don't think that's Rihanna. Is that Rihanna? Havana?
I don't think it is.
I don't think so. I'm going to look it up. I have that song. I thought it was Selena Gomez.
Is it?
It's neither. It's Camila Cabello.
I should have. Yeah.
And Young Thug. Yeah. Oops. Swing and a miss. So close. Any other honorable mentions?
Let's see. What's another one of yours? You want all of mine?
I've got 80 of them, so I didn't want to dominate, and I thought I'd just boom through mine. But let me give you a few more.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, part of the reason I went into finance was I love the movie Wall Street. I don't like the takeaway that you get rich and go to jail. If I could get rich and go to jail, that would be great. Probably not it, but just Wall Street just seemed like so fun. But between Wall Street, big, a Miracle on 34th Street, I didn't make it to New York City until I was 32. And it was my first trip there, and it was fantastic. But it truly was the allure of those three movies, especially Wall Street, big, where he's in the toy store. And of course, we had to go to FAO Schwartz and see the keyboard. And Miracle on 34th Street, I watched as a kid, and that movie was older than dirt when I was growing up. But still, to see the big department stores and just Times Square, super fun.
Yeah, same. I didn't go to New York till I was in my 30s also. But those movies, you can always be like Wolf of Wall Street. None of those ones went to jail.
Jordan Belfort did. Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. So do you have another? I have another for my...
I've got... I still have 6 left.
All right. So just one more for mine is the National Lampoons, like going through Europe and seeing like that famous circle that he kept riding around and they never escaped from. And of course, from them also is Wally World, a Wally World-esque kind of place. Those were 2 of my like dreams. But the European vacation, like riding a bike around Europe, that was like one of my cool things because he kept hitting the same guys over and over.
And I like the scene in London where they're going just around and around the traffic circle and they can't figure out how to get out. That's fantastic.
Yeah, Clark Griswold had some bangers. Those were my 2.
That's great. So you were really excited to go to Europe based on Clark Griswold.
Yep. And I wanted to ride a bike too. I haven't ridden a bike in Europe yet, but definitely want to do that too.
We did in Avignon in France, and it was really fun. We just took a bike tour around this walled city of Avignon, and it was really neat. Electric bike too, Crystal, so that you didn't get all hot and sweaty.
Right.
You'd go into a high gear when you go up these hills in Avignon, up to the main fort, and also the big cathedral where the popes were when the popes were there for a little bit. And you'd ride up these hills, and that was my first time on an electric bike, and it was pretty fun. My first time on a Segway, by the way, was in southern France as well. Had a good time in Nice on a Segway tour. Have you ridden one of those?
Hated it. 0 stars. We did the DC monuments tours on that thing, and my engineer brain wouldn't turn off.
It's
I had
so
to
hard.
Figure out and I did not like it, but it was an amazing way to cover a lot of ground, though.
I was surprised by how fast you could go.
Yeah, we saw a lot. I was like, I like the idea, but not on this big contraption.
What I liked about the Segway was when I didn't think and I just did it, it worked. Like it was easy, but I would think, to your point, I would think too much, and then I was
Same.
All right, I've got 50 more. When we went to Jordan and we turn the corner to Petra and we see this building called the Treasury. Of course, this building was huge in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I wanted to go see it based on Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm like, if I could go to where this place in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then friends of ours were talking about going, I'm like, oh, let's go. And let's go to Petra so I can do the Raiders of the Lost Ark thing. That would be fantastic.
Ooh.
Board games. The first time I went to Napa Valley, I so wanted to go because viticulture is my favorite board game. I wanted to go just because I love this game so much. And you take people on tours in viticulture and you plant different grapes. And if you're in the United States, you can go to all these other valleys that are fantastic, these great wine regions. Heck, even northern Michigan has a decent wine region, better than people think it's going to be when they go to northern Michigan, very comparable to New York wines. But Napa Valley, I was such a geek. I just wanted to go because of viticulture.
That is funny. I loved Napa when I went, and I went by myself too, and it was fun.
We were going on a trip to France to run this marathon called the Medoc. And the Medoc is a marathon where you go 26 miles and you stop in 20 different wineries and you taste test wine while you're running a marathon.
Whoa.
And they say right at the top of the Medoc, if you're running this for a quick time, this is the wrong marathon.
Clearly.
I had to slow down because I had run 6 miles and I was already getting drunk. It was not good.
Long? Is that a full day, a 24-hour deal?
Nope, 26 miles. We did it in about 5.5 hours.
Wow. That
So,
hats off to you.
but it was
guys.
funny as Cheryl and I would run up. I mean, we went to Rothschild. You probably have heard of Rothschild, and you've got these beautiful, just imagine the French countryside. You have these beautiful trees going up to this amazing chateau, and they have tables set out with the wine. And Cheryl and I, around mile 15, just to have fun, we were like, oh, look at this soiree. Would you like to go here? Oh, sure. As long as we're here, we might as well stop and try their wine. And then we have the wine, and we would tell the people, and I think they all spoke French and didn't speak much English. We were like, sorry, we can't stay. But it was lovely meeting you.
We need to interview you on these fun activity trips, because that's a really cool.
That was a great time.
Yeah.
But while we were on that trip, and this is the place that made my list, there is a city called Carcassonne. And Carcassonne
Spoiler alert.
Carcassonne is a city that the Romans built stuff on, and then the Gauls built stuff on top of that, and then the French built stuff on top of that. So you literally have these walls that have been built on top of walls, and you have these roads that kind of crisscross each other that are super old. They made a board game based on this that won Game of the Year back in the late 90s. All the big time board game geeks know this game. It's called Carcassonne. So we were running this marathon, Crystal, and I was like, I have to go to Carcassonne because my friends were very nice that we went to Carcassonne. We actually spent a night there inside the castle of Carcassonne, and it was super fun, very campy. I saw a thing online recently from somebody else playing board games that they played Carcassonne in Carcassonne. Like they took the game with them to play in the city.
I'm going to ask my board gamers, because I'm playing pickleball with them on Saturday. So I'm definitely going to see if we can play it next time.
They will know Carcassonne. Very easy, very fun game. Highly recommend it. I have 2 more.
All right, let's go for it.
All right. Do you have any more?
I had Hawaii, but that goes back into the same. That's just the place that the villain or the hero ends up at the end of the movie with their cocktails and Mai Tais. That's where they retire to. So Hawaii.
Just any random movie?
Pick any movie.
Just
the ending
in the
scene. Right.
Yeah.
But then when I was there, I didn't know that Jurassic Park was filmed there. So on the Jeep tour, they showed us, they still have the big wall that's up from it. Like some of the stuff, it was filmed a million years ago, it seems, but they still have the set. Some of it's still up, standing.
A friend of mine just saw the new Jurassic Park movie and wrote on social media that movie stole his money and his time.
Oh, no.
Just absolutely hated it. I didn't see it, but it didn't get great reviews.
Oh.
I had 2 that were based on video games. I like racing games, and Hawaii made my list because there's a game called Test Drive where you're racing around. And the cool thing about this video game is that as you don't know what's on a street until you explore it. And you can't buy a car from a certain company until you pass their car dealership. And once you pass that car dealership, so you pass the Jaguar dealership, now Jaguar's open. You pass the Mercedes, and Mercedes is open. You pass the Chevrolet dealership. So you're searching for these different dealerships so that you can buy their cars. You're racing different people around the island. And I fell in love with Hawaii. I still have not been to Hawaii, but the main reason I want to go is because of this stupid video game.
Video game. That's funny. That's a good one.
The same thing with another racing game. There's a series called Forza Horizon. And Forza Horizon is a game that takes a location, takes a country, and gives you miles and miles of roads that gives you the best of that country. So they did a great one for Great Britain. I'd already been to Great Britain when I played that, but I really like that. The latest one was Mexico. And Crystal, it did the best job of giving you the history of Mexico. There's these missions in the game that you go on where there's these historians. Like one is the relationship Mexico has, the love affair Mexico has with the VW bug, the beetle. And Mexico and the beetle go hand in hand. And so it takes you on these series of road adventures based on Mexican history and the history of the beetle, and it intertwines them. And so I'm learning about these locations all over the place. I always thought Mexico was cool. I played this game and I want to go all over Mexico. I would just love to explore so much of Mexico based on Forza Horizon.
Interesting.
So that's why I'm getting my nerd on there.
My first bike tour I did in Mexico, and that was really cool. That's what like had me like, okay, I want to do some kind of activity on every trip because that was cute, fun. We had the big baskets on the front, going through different town. We would stop at a big town circle and do a little bit of shopping, and then
whereabouts in Mexico?
That was Cabo San Lucas. Yep.
I loved my time in Cabo. The problem that I had with Cabo was that, much like the only other time I've been in Mexico, which was Cancun, was that I didn't feel like it was really Mexico. I felt like it was heavy duty tourist area made for me. It was there were more Americans. I met more Americans than I met Mexicans. I was staying in an all-inclusive resort in Cabo.
Got it. See, of course, they're like, don't go off the resort. Me and my friend, that was one of the first things we did. We caught this city bus, and I swear I was like, I don't know how this transmission is holding on. But we went so slow. I was like, we could get out and push the bus faster than we're going up the hill. But we ended up going into town one of the days, and we had a good time in town. And then we actually walked all the way back. And that was fun. That was pre-smartphone days too. We were brave.
That's so brave. And I think, and I'll save it for a different day because we got to get moving. But I think I told on a previous episode my story about Cancun and getting on the wrong bus. Eesh. Guns, by the way, is previewing one that's on my top 5. Now it's time. Those were, Crystal, yours were really awesome.
Thanks. Right back at you.
I can't wait. If those are your honorable mentions, I can't wait to hear the top 5. So what is your 5th best place you've either gone to or wanted to go to because of some sort of media? Book, video game, TV show, movie, song?
Is this the halfway point? Should we halfway point?
That sounds great. We are about the halfway. We haven't even started, and we're at the halfway point. We call this.
Somebody talks too much. Just kidding. It's us. It's both of us.
I was going to say, I've been guilty of that, but I think today.
It is. We both have diarrhea of the mouth.
We're slightly passionate about this stuff. We are halfway through today's pit stop, our road trip. So we take a pit stop. On the pit stop here, I was dreaming about what's at the end of the adventure, how cool it's going to be when we get there. Normally on our pit stop, we have our gear of the day, which either Crystal or I or our guest, our amazing guest, have detailed something they've taken with them that's really made the adventure better. So if you're looking for gear that has been road tested, there's so much garbage out there, stuff that our adventure community has used. Head to stackingadventures.com/GOTD. And Crystal, I told you before we recorded, I have a problem, and I'm hoping our adventure community can solve the problem.
And I'll share what the problem is in just a moment.
And that problem is, I remember one of my first, you and I about to go to a conference in Portland, Oregon called FinCon.
Woohoo.
And one of the first FinCons I went to, this very nice guy brought me a backpack that he had made to look like Stacking Benjamins. It had Stacking Benjamin stuff all over the backpack.
That's cool.
He had it made specifically as a fan of the Stacking Benjamin show. And he gave it to me, and I still use that. And then when Stacking Benjamins won our first Plutus, we got a Plutus Award backpack. Yep. And then I got another Plutus Award backpack. And then we had USAA as a sponsor for a while. USAA gave me a backpack. And then I started doing these adventures by Disney trips. They give you a backpack. I have so many backpacks. And they're all fantastic, by the way. They're great. But I can only wear one backpack. And I've got 80. So what we're going to do... And what do you think, Crystal? Do we give this maybe, we're trying to grow our little online community between the podcast episodes, have some chats where we help each other adventure better between the episodes and chat about topics in the episodes on our Facebook group called the Stacking Adventures Clubhouse. If you just go to Facebook, you put Stacking Adventures Clubhouse in, you'll find it. Ask to be
let in. We'll let you in.
Yeah, we're almost up to 50 adventures
Woo-hoo.
Now that are there. But we're going to give this away in a week to somebody, and this is an Adventures by Disney backpack. I talked about how these trips cost 7 billion barrels of money, so you can pretend like you went on one without spending 17 barrels of money. It says Adventures by Disney, but it's really nice, really nice leather look. It's not leather. It's a rain-resistant, really heavy-duty. I don't know what this material is, but it is a very heavy clasp. And you can, if you got it loaded up, it can be up here, down here. This just goes through the clasp.
That's cool.
To make it go.
I want one.
It is there's a zipper on the bottom. So not only does it have that top, but also the zipper, there's a zippered off pocket on the inside. It's very deep as you can, you might be able to.
Enough about the bag.
To see, I gotta sell it so people take it off my hands.
We're running out of time.
Over here is a little space for little trinkets. And then you have a side pocket here. Yep. You have a side pocket that's for a water bottle.
Nice.
All right. All that. We're going to give it away to somebody in the clubhouse.
Yep.
And so we'll have a link on the show notes, or just put in Stacking Adventures Clubhouse in a week from the day this goes live, which is a Tuesday, the 19th. So on the 26th, we're going to give it away.
All right.
All right.
Good luck.
That's
so loud.
It, and then go do our gear of the day. All right, time for our top 5, Crystal. Enough messing around. But should we do Amy's top 5 here first? Her number one.
Yep.
Amy has a great one based on like in the movie Casablanca. She went to Morocco.
Woohoo! And it's funny because someone asked me yesterday if we've done a show on Morocco, and I was like, we have not. They're on their way to go there next month, and I was like, I want to go to Morocco.
Get on that trip. Go.
Oh yeah, I should have invited myself.
I know. Duh.
That's my claim to fame.
I've had 2 different friends that I've traveled with often that have gone to Morocco. I have never wanted to go. It just isn't my jam. Now, if Cheryl says we're going, Crystal, I'll go.
Right.
And you already know what's going to happen too. I'm going to love it. I absolutely love it. They talked about going with the Bedouins out into the desert too, and doing some cool stuff out in the desert, which was fun. Camel rides in the desert and stuff. Huh. It sounded like a great time. And of course, just the beautiful squares and the beautiful stuff in the desert. Just wonderful. Guns, by the way. Thank you, Guns. I said it's a leathery material. It's not leather. Guns told us it's pleather. Of course it's pleather. Play leather. Authentic pleather Guns. Authentic pleather. Leather. Okay, that's Amy's number one. That's a great one, Amy.
That is a good one.
I'm sure if I went, I would love it. It has not made my list. It's on Cheryl's list, so I'm sure I'll get there someday. Crystal, what's your number 5?
All right. So I went to Paris before the Emily in Paris craze, but it makes me want to go back to Paris though. But I'm actually glad I went pre-Instagram craze, because a lot of people, it was there were smartphones, but everyone wasn't crazy on them. So I got to enjoy Paris and Italy too. So I'm glad I went to these places popularity from a movie. So I got to see an authentic version, but I do want to go back for the Instagram worthy places.
For people that haven't seen Emily in Paris, it is generally not my kind of show. And I love it because it is Paris pornography. The
outfits, even when I went to Paris too, the stuff I bought, oh my gosh, I got a lot of the cutest stuff and not super expensive either. That's what I loved about it too. I loved her outfits, the cafes, the love.
That is so fantastic. Paris might make mine later on, Crystal. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
What I can confirm, though, is we're chatting online. And by the way, we're generally here on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Do the math where you are. Guns, it's got to be 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night, as Guns is going around on a cruise around Japan and South Korea.
That's so cool.
But Alicia hanging out with us said,
Alicia.
Just saw a flight deal for Casablanca, Morocco yesterday ongoing, which is Scott's Cheap Flights, which is a great place to try to find
and Google
last
flights
minute
too.
Yeah, last minute deals. Fantastic. And by the way, even if you go, there's a page that's hidden at the American Airlines website, which is last minute deals. And if you're willing to fly in the next 30 days to someplace, you can score some amazing last minute deals. I saw one about a month ago to go economy Rome for $250 from Dallas.
Wow.
I know, just incredible. Some absolutely great things. And I love the fact that places aren't for everybody. Amy loved it, and Guns went and didn't love it. So
not impressed.
Different
this year.
There are places that I have loved that people have said, and notably, there's a lot of people that don't like that I like going to Disney. Oh, I went to Disney. It was horrible. It was packed. It was annoying. It was whatever. Different places for different people. Alicia's asking what the name of the site was. Crystal mentioned
I
Google
mentioned
Flights.
Google Flights, but yours was $250.
Mine was just literally American Airlines.
Oh, you did say American Airlines.
Yeah, just American Airlines. Just go on the American Airlines website, look for their deals page, and they are constantly rotating deals that are almost always in the next 30 days.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and as long as you're able to go. Cheryl and I talked about that when she retires, that we'll just be ready to pack our bags and go would be awesome.
Your number 5.
Yeah, my number 5, I talked about going to Jordan, and Petra made my honorable mention. But this trip, when I knew we were going to Jordan, the one that actually really hit me was my favorite movie for a long time has been Lawrence of Arabia. I just love this old movie with Peter O'Toole. I saw it in the original film format, and the movie's so long that it has an intermission with music playing, and I just fell in love immediately. I've seen this movie like 18 times, and the fact that it's a true story is really cool as well. And there's a place that he went called Wadi Rum, which is Jordanian National Park, with these phenomenal formations. And the fact that this played such a big role in World War I, and the fact that what I really liked about the film and what I like about this period in history is here is an English guy whose job is to defeat the Turks. So he has to help the Muslims gain their independence. And so he helped create Saudi Arabia. He helped create a lot of the Muslim states, but not as a Muslim, as a guy who learns to love this culture that's nothing like his. And I feel like that's so fundamental to travel, that getting to know and see things that have nothing to do with who you are, where you've been. Really, I think in a lot of ways, it gives us a lot of empathy for other cultures. And so Wadi Rum, I was super excited to go see. And when we went out there, and we're going around the desert, and I'm just thinking about the history in these places. It was really cool. So number 5 in Jordan was Wadi Rum for me. You want to flip it the other way for number 4?
Yes. So for my number 4, Beat Street. That movie made me want to go to Harlem so badly.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And the subways, we had the L in Chicago, but I wanted to see like the graffiti and all that other stuff. So Harlem was huge on my list.
I have still not been to Harlem. And of course there's an iconic spot in Harlem that I want to go. I think everybody wants to go. I want to go see something at the Apollo. I so want to see something at the Apollo. Been to New York City, never been to Harlem. How did you like Harlem?
I loved it. The one place, it was Sylvia's overrated food for me, but we found like this cupcake shop, and the sweets always do it for me. Like I'm just a big fan of sweets. So that was my highlight, and buying some cool like t-shirts and stuff like that.
The number of restaurants that I've seen in Harlem that get highly rated that are just so phenomenal. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting hungry.
Me too. All right, your number 4, Joe.
Yeah, my number 4 has to do with a book. And when we went to Romania, we went on this Danube River cruise, and it went through Bratislava. And when we started the tour, it went from east to west, and just these Eastern European countries that I'd never been to. The whole reason I wanted to go, Cheryl wanted to go because she had suggested the Christmas markets, which I fell in love with later. But the reason I wanted to go is I had read a book called The Historian. And The Historian is a historical fiction novel. It won a lot of awards when it came out. And what's funny, it was the first novel by the woman who wrote it. And it notoriously has a horrible ending, which, by the way, it still made all of these lists because the ride is so worth it. I'd recommend The Historian to any, because there's so much history about a little guy named Vlad the Impaler. And Vlad the Impaler, for people that don't know who I'm referring to, That is Count Dracula.
Oh,
And
I
so
didn't.
it's this story about the history of Vlad and how Vlad became Dracula, intertwined with modern day, where supposedly these people are being tracked and hunted by Dracula, as they're also trying to track Dracula down. Dracula doesn't necessarily want to be found, but The Historian was a phenomenal book if you're interested in this very macabre history of Eastern Europe. And frankly, a guy who was ruthless, but needed to scare off the Turks to hold on to his territory. And Vlad the Impaler did everything he could to try to scare the heck out of this huge Ottoman Empire that was coming to get him. So Romania was my number 4, and that was all because of The Historian. Great book, Crystal. You'd love it.
Cool. I put it on my list. It's officially on my list. Gunn says he's read a lot of books about Vietnam and really wants to go. That's a good one.
There was a book, Guns, called The Things They Carried, that's about Vietnam. And when I went to Vietnam, I thought about this all the time. I wanted to go to Vietnam and went because my dad had served in Vietnam. And just to go to the place that my dad had been in, this adversarial, just this conflict, and to go and see the changes was sadly, my dad wanted to go. His health wasn't good. At first my dad it was funny because at first he was a little bit offended. And then I told him why I wanted to go. And then my dad wanted to go with us, but his health wasn't good enough to ride a plane that long. But he loved the pictures and told us so many stories about his time in Vietnam. Great one there with Vietnam. All right. What is your number 3? Or do we want to flip it? Let's flip it and I'll go first so that we get your number 1 last. First. Yes. My number 3 is based on a video game.
Nice.
There was another racing game called Midnight Club, where you're racing in these cities, and there's a Midnight Club in downtown Los Angeles, which is really, but the one that really I fell in love with was not when they went to Tokyo or when they went to Atlanta or Detroit, but when they were racing through Paris. And if you're racing, Momo, when we went to Paris, I was such a nerd. I'm like, ooh, I raced this in Midnight Club. This was awesome. And Cheryl's just try to enjoy it without being a video game geek. Please, God. But Midnight Club, you go by Momar, you race cars along the Seine, you go by the
Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, the Arc de Triomphe, the Notre Dame, like all of these iconic places, racing as fast as you can. In fact, there's a very hard race that takes you through a parking structure next to the Pompidou, which is the Modern Art Museum. That race was hard as hell. And when we went to I wanted to go to the Pompidou, partly because I like modern art and partly because I wanted to see this pain in the ass parking structure I had to race through. And it was right next to it. It was pretty funny. So Paris, I went to sadly because of Midnight Club. Still my favorite city on earth. And I think yours too.
Yeah, that could be a good learning tool. I would love to play a game where I could show my drive from the airport to my hotel and then the shopping, like to pin it all out as you're in a car. That would be cool.
Alicia, by the way, hanging out with us, said Jordan and Petra, still on her list, would also love to visit New Zealand.
Yeah, that's
Alicia,
on my list.
That's at the top of my list. What's funny is I had a roommate from Australia. Australia sounds okay. I know Australia, people combine from the U.S., especially Australia with New Zealand. I don't know. Australia sounds fine, but New Zealand, oh my goodness, I want to go. I could say, did you ever see the movie Babe?
Yeah. Oh, my nephew loved that movie.
Yeah, the pig.
Oh, yes. We wore it out. Yeah.
Did so great, but that's New Zealand, and that movie and how beautiful it is. And of course, Lord of the Rings, reasons to go to New Zealand. But it's funny. That's what type of geek I am. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's fine. Babe, the one about the pig.
Right.
That's why Joe wants to go.
Very surprising.
Vietnam and Georgia. And the things that I've read about Georgia, oh my God, it looks so beautiful. Used to be a part of USSR and now just gorgeous country.
Interesting.
All right. Your number
next.
3.
So mine was from the song Jay-Z sung about seeing the shore rising off the shore of Thailand. That was like Thailand. I couldn't wait to do that. I was like, I'm here. I'm at the beach watching the sunrise in Thailand.
Did you play the song?
No, remember we talked about this. I love nature, not music in
not
nature.
Music. Yeah, but when you're in your hotel room, you could play the song.
Yeah, I do. that's where we bring our little mini speakers for getting dressed. That's the fun part.
Do you have a road trip playlist though, like songs that are travel songs? Because I
Not
definitely
really.
do.
Oh, you do? Then please drop it in our clubhouse.
I don't love country music, but there's a song whenever we go to these national parks in the middle of nowhere, Crystal, by Dwight Yoakam called 1,000 Miles from Nowhere.
Huh.
And it's like the best song for being in the middle of nowhere. There's also a song as the sun's coming down and you're in this beautiful place and we're on a road trip. I will play the song by Simply Red called The Sky is a Gypsy. And it just goes perfect with that setting sun. Just fantastic. Nice pairing. All right.
3.
That was your number 3. My number 2. My number 2 is based on a movie
number 3. Oh, no.
I already did. That was Midnight Club. That was Paris for me. My number 2 is a movie. And I really wanted to go to Florence because I had seen this chick flick. This one, I don't know what's more embarrassing, the amount of board games on this list and video games on this list, or the fact that a chick flick is my number 2. But Diane Lane in Under a Tuscan Sun, where her life is in shambles and she has to go to the Tuscan countryside. And I wanted to go to Florence because of that movie, but I especially wanted to go to the Tuscan countryside. And when I saw that the Adventures by Disney trip that we took was staying at a hotel out in the Tuscan countryside with a little village you could walk into that had a little church and maybe 20, 30 buildings. It was a little tiny town. I was in love. And you could see this beautiful city on a hill way in the distance and all of the iconic trees and the vineyards and oh my goodness. But Under a Tuscan Sun made me want to go to Tuscany.
Same. Oh man. I've tied Tuscany to a specific goal. I'm like, when I reach this goal, I'm going to Tuscany. And it's 100% thanks to that movie. Yeah. That movie put Tuscany on my radar too.
It's incredible. And a similar one that didn't make my list, but to go to Siena in that general area because of, what is it called? Letters to Juliet.
Oh,
another chick flick. So we've got Gunn says he's going to have to research Jordan. Sounds interesting. Going to New Zealand for the first time next spring is Guns again. So Guns has 2 reasons to come on the show now.
Yeah.
Then to talk about New Zealand and has been to Thailand. And like you said on an earlier episode, Crystal, Thailand is
beautiful.
Thailand's got it going on. Jay likes welcome. Quarry Pass in the Indian Himalayas and Petropolis, Brazil, were my favorite. And I guess Edinburgh, Scotland. But Jay, the theme of today are, did you go there because of some media, because of a book, because of a video game, because of I'd love to hear if any of those, a song, if any of those played into the reasons why you went to those places. Crystal, we need your number 2.
All right. We've got, I wanted to go to both Japan, Hong Kong. I haven't been to Hong Kong yet. Thanks to my favorite, he's my uncle, Bruce Lee, like all of the kung fu and karate flicks. I wanted to go into one of those little houses where the door slides and you sit on the floor. I wanted to go to restaurants where you sit and take off your shoes. All of that stuff was inspired by the Bruce Lee and his movies.
Oh, that's so great. When I was in Hong Kong a couple of years ago, and you go to one of the sides of the harbor, and because the city's built across this harbor, and on one side there's a beautiful little park with a statue of there's 2 statues of people filming, and they're filming Bruce Lee, and there's a statue of Bruce Lee, but with the cameras all set up and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
He made you want to go.
Pioneer understatement. Oh, definitely. Even like those shoes. Like when I went to Japan, I brought back some of those shoes with toe, the thing in between the big toe. That was pretty fun. Even looking at, because most of the museums and all the touristy things you go into those little rooms, like and I can just imagine him fighting in here, and that made it super cool.
It's so cool. And It's such a wild time for Hong Kong because Hong Kong is changing because when it turned over from British rule to Chinese rule, the Chinese government, this is just my take, so may or may not be true, but definitely what I thought when I was there is that China's putting Hong Kong in its place, and it's not the beacon that it was, because in Chinese culture, they also have Beijing and Shanghai, and really there's been so much unrest through the years in Hong Kong that you get this feeling that while it's not oppressive, it's not the same as it was. So a very interesting time to go to Hong Kong. In fact, when we took a tour, our tour guide told us that a lot of Americans don't go to Hong Kong anymore because you don't have as a tourist, you don't have the rights that you had when it was under British rule. So a lot of Americans stopped coming. I didn't think about that. My goal was to end up in a Chinese jail, and it didn't. No, I'm kidding. Well, not my goal at all. Yes, not my goal. My number one, which is hilarious that I'm so predictable that Guns hanging out with us already said it. My number one place that I went to purely because of a video game was, and this again is historical fiction. This is why I like this game a lot. And the game was called Gabriel Knight, The Beast Within. Gabriel Knight is a demon hunter. But what I loved about this game is by a woman named Jane Jensen. And Jane dives in the same way that in The Historian we learned about Dracula. She dives werewolves, which if you think about werewolves, you think of southern Germany. You think about the Black Forest and you think about Bavaria. But at the same time, when you say Bavaria is tied into this one King Ludwig. And Ludwig created the amazing castle Neuschwanstein that tons of people have gone to. They call it the Sleeping Beauty Castle. He made so many beautiful castles. And this story hypothesizes. Jane does this great job of saying Ludwig liked to be alone. In fact, he made these elevators for food where his table in his room would go down to the kitchen. They would put the stuff on it, and then the servants would just wheel it up. So not even the servants would see him.
Oh, could see him.
He wanted nobody to see him. And he'd love to go out in the winter at night by himself on these sleigh rides. Now there are lots of different things that are hypothesized about Ludwig. One is that he was in love with Richard Wagner. And of course, being gay in the late 1800s, early 1900s, not socially acceptable. So there was also a lot of shame. So there's threads of that in the story. There's also threads of this idea, midnight, like to go out in the middle of the night by himself. Ludwig could have, Crystal, been a werewolf. And maybe he and Wagner,
I wonder,
the composer Wagner, were werewolves together. It's a super fun romp. I think the game is okay, but the history in the game of Munich and Bavaria and that area and just the Bavarian culture, I want to go so bad. Cheryl acquiesced, and we went for our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
We rented a car. We went down a road called the Romantic Road, and we went through all these little Bavarian towns. We went to 3 of Ludwig's castles. We learned all about that culture, and we took a left turn. We actually never went to Munich. We went down past Munich on the west side and then under Munich and into Austria, and we ended up in Vienna. And it was just it was a phenomenal trip. But my number one, because of a video game called Gabriel Knight, The Beast Within, I fell in love. Jay answering all of our questions from earlier. He wanted to go to Brazil because of Brigitte Bardot. We know that Jay is a manly man. Brigitte Bardot. Woo. Yeah. Scotland because of the Masonic conspiracy. The same thing as the Da Vinci Code for me.
Oh, that's cool.
What else? Theories about the Maze sculpture.
And the Rosslyn Church.
Himalayas because of that book where everybody dies. I want to go because people die there. That's fantastic. And Jay also chimes in. His oldest loves Forza Horizon.
Oh.
And I'm now thinking I need to save more so he can travel more.
Yeah, tell him become an engineer too.
So good, man. It's so great to get into a culture. I never knew that I would love Mexican culture. I've always liked it, but I never knew that I would love it. These historic, a friend of mine went to Mexico City and really dove into more authentic Mexico than I've ever done. And
Mexico City
made me want to go. We have a friend in Guadalajara as well that we'd love to go visit and get some authentic Mexican culture. Okay, that's my number one. Crystal, we got the biggest number one of all. Crystal Hammond's number one
is Wakanda.
Oh,
so based on Black Panther, I haven't been to Africa. I do want to go to Africa. I want to go to Ghana, Egypt too. Wakanda, aka somewhere in Africa, is where I want to go. I haven't been yet.
I want to go to so many places in Africa.
Yeah. And there's even Kenya. I just was talking to a lady about it.
Cheryl wants to do, we have Morocco mentioned. I did, of course, the Nile River into Egypt, but I really would like to do more of that Central and South African culture would be fantastic. Namibia sounds fantastic. Mm-hmm. Also sounds like a place where there's so much technology, new technology coming out of Namibia. I'd love to see that. I had a trip planned to run a ultra marathon in South Africa, but my body wasn't going to go further than 26 miles. I didn't go to this trip that I planned. I didn't go, and friends of mine went, and they love South Africa. Yes. They also climbed Kilimanjaro.
Oh, wow.
But Cheryl and I, on our list is a safari. My sister and brother-in-law went, and as part of their trip, they went into these villages and helped build wells for clean water for people. And they slept in people's homes. People took them in their homes. They really got to see African culture. I know our mutual friend, Lynette Kilfani Cox, just had a wonderful trip to Africa. Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Their pictures.
Heaven.
So that's on the list.
I'd love to go too. Oh my, too bad we don't want to go anywhere, Crystal.
I know.
And the people hanging out with us don't want to go anywhere either, it sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. That was a great list. This was a lot of fun.
It was a ton of fun. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Now, if you didn't hang out today because you weren't available at 9 a.m. Eastern on a Friday, you can still take part in this tomfoolery.
Yes.
Because we're going to do a part 2, which is all of yours. Crystal, how do people get involved?
Yes, we want to hear your stories. Please head to stackingadventures.com/mystory or voicemail, but just go to my story. And that way you can record up to 5 minutes telling us your story of where you went and what was it based on, a movie, a song. If any of ours triggered things that you remember that you did and totally didn't think about, head over. And if you get cut off, leave a second one. And then we want to hear. Go ahead. You can even leave 10 if you want for a whole 50-minute show worth of you telling us, oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention this. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. So stackingadventures.com/mystory. We want to hear from you.
Yeah. And Jay, Alicia, Guns, any of the people hanging out with us today. Amy, if you've got stories to tell, let us know. And definitely, Guns, we want to hear your story about the cruise that you're on, hanging out with us while you're on a cruise. We'd love to hear more about that cruise. Maybe we'll bring on Donna, our cruise expert, on that same episode.
Yeah. /my story.
All right. And remember our gear of the day. There's no second half gear of the day, but you can win this lovely Adventures by Disney backpack that has never been used if you join our Facebook community. We're almost up to 50 adventures. We have some fun discussions, but we'd love to have more. We'd love to have you involved and to get more takes. So the more we help each other adventure, the more fun it is.
Yeah.
It's funny, Crystal. We had a guest on Stacking Benjamins who said the best thing you can do is to plan your adventure early and dream about it, because when you get there, that makes the money even more worth it, because the dreaming about it is so fun.
Yeah, I agree. Where am I going next? I don't know.
You are going away from this podcast because we're out of here.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. She's Crystal.
And I'm Joe. He's
All right.
Joe.
We'll see you next time. Stacking Adventures.
Bye.